In a powerful and intense episode of the podcast, Joe Rogan sits down with one of the most dangerous rising stars in MMA, Khamzat Chimaev. From the very beginning, the atmosphere feels different. Rogan studies Chimaev closely, recognizing that this isn't just another fighter, this is someone with a rare and aggressive mindset. He opens with a direct question about Chimaev's famous phrase, "I smash everybody," asking if it's real belief or just hype. Chimaev answers instantly, saying that without belief, a fighter has already lost before stepping into the cage. That response sets the tone for the entire conversation. Rogan, impressed by his confidence, begins breaking down his fighting style, comparing him to elite fighters in the UFC. He brings up Kamaru Usman, known for his dominant wrestling and control, and asks Chimaev how he would deal with someone like that. Chimaev responds calmly, saying that he respects every fighter but doesn't fear anyone. Rogan then mentions Colby Covington, pointing out his endless cardio and pressure-heavy style. The idea of a high-paced war between Covington and Chimaev excites fans, but Chimaev simply states that pressure is his game too, and he believes he does it better. As the conversation continues, Rogan shifts to striking and brings up Israel Adesanya, one of the most precise strikers in the sport. He questions whether Chimaev would stand and strike or rely on wrestling in such a matchup. Chimaev smiles slightly and says he can do everything: wrestle, strike, finish, wherever the fight goes. Rogan acknowledges that this unpredictability is what makes him so dangerous, as opponents can never feel safe. The discussion then moves to Chimaev's incredible UFC debut, where he fought twice in just 10 days and dominated both opponents without taking damage. Rogan calls it one of the craziest starts he has ever seen, comparing it to the activity level of fighters like Covington, but even more extreme. Chimaev explains it simply: he trains every day like it's fight day, so when opportunity comes, he doesn't need preparation. He's always ready. Rogan then dives deeper into the mental side of fighting. He asks Chimaev about fear, something even champions like Usman have admitted to feeling before fights. Chimaev doesn't deny it. Instead, he explains that fear is normal, but it should be controlled and used as motivation. Rogan highlights this as a key difference between average fighters and elite ones: the ability to turn pressure into power. The conversation becomes more personal when Rogan brings up Chimaev's battle with COVID-19. At one point, it nearly ended his career, forcing him to consider retirement. Rogan speaks seriously here, acknowledging how dangerous that moment was. Chimaev describes it as the hardest fight of his life, not inside the cage, but mentally. He explains how it tested his patience, his strength, and his belief. But just like in fighting, he didn't quit. He came back stronger, more focused, and even more dangerous. Rogan then returns to analyzing potential matchups. He asks if Chimaev believes he's ready for the very top fighters like Usman or Adesanya. Without hesitation, Chimaev says he doesn't think he will become champion, he knows it. That confidence fills the room. Rogan reacts by saying that this level of belief is what creates legends, but it also comes with pressure. Chimaev, however, seems unaffected by that pressure. For him, it's simple: fight, win, repeat. As the podcast continues, Rogan points out how different Chimaev is compared to fighters like Covington, who rely heavily on trash talk to build hype. Chimaev, on the other hand, speaks less but delivers more. His performances do the talking. That quiet confidence, combined with violent dominance, creates a unique presence in the sport. Toward the end of the conversation, Rogan asks one final question: if you could fight anyone right now, who would it be? Chimaev gives the same answer that has defined his career: anyone. It doesn't matter who stands across from him. He believes the result will always be the same. As the episode wraps up, Rogan gives his final thoughts. Having spoken to countless fighters over the years, including champions like Usman and elite strikers like Adesanya, he admits that Chimaev's mentality stands out. There's something raw, fearless, and genuine about the way he approaches fighting. It's not just about titles or fame, it's about domination. The cameras fade, but the impact of the conversation remains. This wasn't just a podcast, it was a deep look into the mindset of a fighter who was chasing greatness with complete belief in himself. And with names like Kamaru Usman, Colby Covington, and Israel Adesanya in the picture, the future for Khamzat Chimaev looks explosive, and the best may still be yet to come. The conversation then shifts to fight IQ and finishing ability. Rogan references Chimaev's 17-second knockout of Gerald Meerschaert, explaining how it changed public perception of him from purely a grappler to a complete finisher. Chimaev explains that he trains every area: wrestling, striking, clinch work, so that he is never limited in a fight. This evolution makes him dangerous against every style, whether it's the striking of Adesanya, the wrestling of Usman, or the pace of Covington. As the podcast reaches its final moments, Rogan asks the biggest question: who is next? Chimaev gives the same answer he always gives: anyone. He does not focus on names or rankings. For him, every fight is the same mission: enter, dominate, finish. Rogan closes the conversation by reflecting on the uniqueness of Chimaev's mindset. Having analyzed elite fighters for years, including champions like Usman and technical masters like Adesanya, he admits that Chimaev brings something different, a combination of fearlessness, pressure, and belief that is extremely rare at the highest level. The episode ends, but the impression remains clear: Khamzat Chimaev is not just another contender in the UFC, yet he is a rising force moving toward the top. And with elite names like Kamaru Usman, Colby Covington, and Israel Adesanya in the mix. That's it for today's video. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to hit the like button, thumbs up, subscribe bell to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss any UFC updates. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Who do you want to see next?